Introductions, I'm Deval Ponda. I look after Tata Communications media businesses in Europe and Americas. And Philip?
Yes, my name's Philip Neighbour. I'm the Chief Operation Officer for Playbox, and ultimately I'm responsible for our business with Tata.
Yeah. Thank you, Philip. Just a brief introduction into what Tata Group is and what do we do in media entertainment services. So Tata Group is a massive conglomerate. They do businesses from steel to cars to latest consumer devices as well. Tata Communications Media Services actually owns and operates an entire media ecosystem of services, and focus is on cloud-based services for legacy infrastructure, hardware, focusing on new ways of delivering services on basically systems that used to exist via hardware where millions of dollars would have been invested year over year, but finding new ways of delivering content to everyone. And especially the small guys and the medium guys who actually own content, and for them, the initial entry barrier has always been massive in terms of delivering a live channel or a VOD-based channel onto a given network. So, Philip, do you want to give some examples of what the small-time guys have always encountered in delivering a channel?
So as you're all aware, most broadcasters have a hardware infrastructure with dedicated equipment for everything. What we've done with Tata is to virtualize the whole product, so you can spin up a channel very quickly. If you want experimental, you want to test a marketplace, you have a relatively low cost of entry into that market.
Thank you, Philip. So what we thought, what is the few parameters in the industry that have changed fundamentally over the last few years? So the way we actually work with content, interact with content, the number of devices over which we actually view content has changed dramatically. So these are some of the statistics which you'll find astonishing in terms of how much of video, music, and VOD content has actually permeated into our day-to-day lives. And the industry valuations for some of these companies are astronomical. So previously you used to have a media house that would have a certain amount of media rights, and that would give it valuation in terms of how many subscribers do they have onto their particular platform. But now the critical aspect is how many viewers are you touching on a day-to-day basis, and how many times in a day is a subscriber coming onto your platform, and how many times are you actually being a participant in their entertainment on a day-to-day level. So in terms of these content delivery platforms out there, what we find is there are so many different types of distribution avenues that people can access nowadays. So you've got from music, VOD, TV, to movies. And there are some trends which actually show that the TV business is actually going to overtake the movie business. So the entertainment value that comes onto your small screen at home is actually becoming better and better. And it's actually going to overtake that of what the big movie studios used to produce by about 2018. Now, what does that mean? That an average user actually expects superior quality of content experience, even at a mobile platform experience level at their homes, which means that content owners have to find effective ways to deliver that content onto that same linear platform, and at the same time have enough technology bandwidth to deliver it onto a mobile platform, a tablet, and an online platform as well. So how is this going to disrupt the industry? So single channel delivery, things of the past. You can't just have a single channel onto a given platform and say, okay, that is it. People want multi-channels on various platforms. They want to be able to access your content, whether you are online or offline on a flight. They want to be able to access content that is relevant for the local markets, so local advertising for the content owners. Physical media platforms, people want portable content with them as they're traveling. And this means that the industry has fundamentally shifted from where it was a few years ago. And every single technical element, infrastructure, hardware, how you're going to distribute it, the contracts, the commercial modeling of those contracts has changed fundamentally. So this is a view of a typical cloud-based platform that is delivering traditional legacy-based services, but delivered via a cloud infrastructure that is pay-as-you-go. You don't need a very high upfront cost. Even if you are a small-time content owner, you could actually be a participant and get your content delivered either as a channel or as a word-based delivery platform very quickly and in a cost-effective manner. A very important part of this entire delivery mechanism is the playout. So traditionally, you had to have an investment to actually have a playout infrastructure to be delivered, and it used to take a certain amount of time to get that particular channel slot onto a platform. But nowadays, with the playout, which is cloud-based, and Philip will actually explain more about this later, you can actually have your content up and running in a matter of days with a very small investment in terms of time, money, and efforts from your team. So going ahead, Philip, do you want to explain?
Thank you very much. So, what Playbox has done in conjunction with Tata is to develop a cloud-based playout. We've virtualized the Playbox software, which enables it to run on Blade servers and very quickly spin up channels for major broadcasters, small SME type of operations as well. Playbox was approached by Tata about 18 months ago. So out of the blue, we got a phone call. We are a very small company. We have about 100 people working for us, whereas on the other hand, Tata have 100,000 plus people working for them. So I got a phone call and had a discussion with a gentleman from Tata. He said what they were looking for. At the same time, we were also looking at virtualizing our products. So today, Playbox has about 16,000 on-air services globally, and somewhere between 30 and 35% market share, depending on who you talk to. So, which you can see from this figure. Okay. So, we work together. So, Tata, being a large organization, had very clear ideas of where they wanted to go. And in the initial days, it was a load of discussions going between product management, our R&D, to develop a product which met Tata's needs. Okay. So everything we did was in synergy. So Tata had an opportunity, and we saw Tata as our opportunity to develop us into a global market. So our historic customer base is in the tier 2, tier 3 type of market. Tata is a premium top-end client, supporting and servicing most of the major broadcasters on the global basis. These guys have a very big fiber network, which I believe services the vast majority of all broadcasters around the world.
Yep.
Okay, and you also, I think, have the only fiber that goes all the way around the world. Is that right?
Yes. So that was an interesting statistic that came out from some of the analysts that it's the only man-made structure that goes all the way around Earth.
Yeah.
And it's fully owned and operated by us. Yeah.
Which is excellent stuff. So, as everybody's aware, with virtualized playout, you need very good infrastructure to carry the signal to anywhere in the world. Because it's virtualized, stuff comes out of a data center, okay, and that data center can be anywhere in the world. For argument's sake, you could be servicing a customer from a playout in London or in India or wherever you choose. And should anything go wrong, because it's virtualized, the backup, the disaster recovery can come out of a completely different country seamlessly to the customer. So it gave us a tremendous opportunity to work with Tata. What we have found personally is that we can now address a global market. We are very much integrated with Tata's product management and sales team. We have just finished a major project for Sky Tata in India for a playout services. There are other products and services that we're currently working with. And you might think, dealing with a big company is really, really scary, but it hasn't. It's all done on an individual basis. So it's person to person, and we have found that what we require, Tata supply, and vice versa. So there's some really close working relationship, really very good synergies for the whole thing. So we believe that Tata and Playbox are the market leaders. Certainly, we were the first to offer a complete end-to-end virtualized solution for the broadcast industry for playout, with service quality, which is second to none. So from a Tata point of view, okay, how do you feel the relationship works?
So that's a very interesting question, Phil. As Phil mentioned, we've got the scale and size of a large technology company, and we also work with 3 of the 5 largest cloud service providers. So they buy technology from us and provide this into the wider enterprise market. What we were looking for was a partner that will help us address some of the challenges in the media industry right now. And we were really looking for somebody who is nimble enough to provide the technical support and at the same time have the vision for a 5-year or a 10-year plan for where the industry is going. So which is where I think the Playbox and Tata relationship has really helped, is where it has addressed some of the top concerns for our CTOs and CEOs in terms of managing the technical curve of what their company needs, and at the same time doing that in a cost-effective manner. So that has worked out really well. And as Phil mentioned, we have some of our initial successes to talk about as well. These companies have really got a very cost-effective solution that does not have a very high entry barrier. They can get into it very quickly, and at the same time, the solution is future-proof and is scalable.
Thank you. Yeah, so as Deval said, cost-effective. So as you're probably all aware, a few years ago, it would cost you millions of pounds to put a channel on air, okay, and you'd have to come up with that money. Today's business model is an OPEX model, so it's off your books. You pay a monthly fee, which is relatively low. You have all of the traditional safeguards that you had with a hardware solution, okay, but you can address a market anywhere, which we're finding that there are a number of major broadcasters who wish to address a small market, a niche market. So for argument's sake, I always say the Harley Davidson Bikers Club. Okay, so if you're a Harley Davidson fan, you can spin up a channel very quickly, okay, and deliver content, and you can try it, for a month, 3 years before you make a final decision. It's a relatively easy no-brainer. You get the full functionality of what you would do from a hardware solution. But as we're here for the UKTI, this is more business. So it's how a small company deals with a large company and enables us to export. Because, as we heard earlier on, Tata have over 100,000 people based globally. We are relatively lucky. We have a number of people within the Tata organization that we can deal with to service that global market. And any customer anywhere in the world can come to Tata and say, please provide me with a channel. And it doesn't matter who you are or where you are. Life is simple now. And it's relatively low in terms of the cost to enter that marketplace. What we've noticed is that lots of products are becoming virtualized. Okay, so we see it in the IT domain. Broadcast and IT are really merging together today. We've been talking about it for years, but now it's really happening. Yeah, historically there were security issues. So far we found none of those issues, and customers have begun to accept, the advantages in a broadcast domain of virtualization. Do I see it happening? I think for disaster recovery, tier one broadcasters, definitely see it happening over the next 18 to 36 months. Maybe a company who's based somewhere where there's very poor infrastructure, it might take slightly longer. I don't know if you have any statistical information.
No, you're spot on, Phil. So a very interesting analogy here is the storage market, where about a decade ago, every storage facility used to have on-premise storage. And people would not even think of parking that in a cloud service somewhere being serviced by somebody that they don't control, and they don't know physically where that sits. But right now, Amazon, Google, Microsoft have got online storage facilities, and they are storing data successfully for a very big portion of the market. And it's a generally accepted rule that if it can be stored securely in multiple locations, and if you have means to access it, then why not? It makes commercial sense. So I think Playout is at that stage where it makes commercial sense to actually to move the disaster recovery side of things onto the cloud right now, and as well as some of the new content owners that want to start off and want to have a service up and running and not necessarily invest millions in an infrastructure that is going to be obsolete in a few years. It does not make business sense. There is a technical risk and there is a financial risk. And people have gotten on that as content owner, you actually don't need to take both of these risks. So as service providers, we take both. We choose the right technology partner and also take the financial risk to ensure that we keep choosing the right technology partner and the right technology every year. And content owners can just focus on creating and managing right content.
And I guess most of you do online banking, and you trust the cloud to do that. So you should trust it for your broadcast content as well.
Right, Philip, do you want to give an example of some of your initial customers? And what were the questions and worries that they had when you initially told them that, look, I can do this over cloud for you?
So initially, the first question was, can you really do that?
Right.
Okay, because people think you need a massive server farm. Well, you do, but as you all know today, IT power, computer server power is growing and growing, and it's relatively easy now to put a channel out to air on a virtual platform. So security was an early question, okay. But there are safeguards in place. We haven't had a service so far that's been hacked. Reliability, we actually have more reliability because virtualization means that you can have a data center anywhere in the world. You can have your backup anywhere in the world. And taking things off of your books and doing it on a OPEX budget as opposed to a CAPEX budget has really changed things. It makes life easier. Broadcasters can concentrate on publishing their product. So, generating that product, etc. Don't worry about the distribution of that product because somebody else is taking care of it. Okay, so as I said, 18 months ago, lots of skepticism, but today it's reality. And we have a number of broadcasters that we're not allowed to use their names because there are slight concerns from various people that cloud may not be the right thing. Okay. In a few months' time, by September, we'll be announcing quite a number of names of people who did trial services who have actually gone live now and found that there's no issues. And from Tata's sales team, I mean, what type of problems have they encompassed?
So we basically work with CXOs who are in a position right now where they've invested a few $1 million over the last 8 to 10 years in a technology that is increasingly not fit for what their viewers actually demand. So people want more OTT, they want faster delivery, they want to access it over their mobile phones, they want to download it, And also, they want to have that set-top box at home become more intelligent to give them better analytics, suggest better programs, be shorter duration but more interactive, almost like a YouTube model or YouTube meets Netflix model that people are grappling with. So this is an interesting problem, and if you are in that CXO's shoes, what you realize is you've got to tell your board that all of the investment that we have been making is not only obsolete, but we now have a new problem where somebody is coming in and actually taking over our market share, and we have to come up with a new strategy. And most of the times, that new strategy is a new brand which is going to access that particular market. So you have Now TV from the likes of Sky that addresses a market which is completely different and diverse to their standard primary subscriber base. Even in the United States, you've got a number of cable companies that have come out with a slimmer version. You look at the examples of Sling TV in United States, where it's targeting viewers who don't really want to pay a lot more for all of their bundles put together, but they want smaller bundles. They want sports. They want drama, entertainment. So they are in this situation right now where they need somebody to come in and actually just take on some of the technology roadmap decisions that they've got to make, and also be there over the next 2 to 3 years to implement it, to ensure that it's secure. So for them, the global scale is important, where the ownership and the operation of this infrastructure is with one player. And that one player has the financial might to ensure that they make the right decision, choose the right partner, and be there when there is a problem to ensure that that partner is not going to just go away in 2 years' time. So these are some of the concerns that our customers come to us with. Identify us more ways to make additional revenue from the same set of subscribers. Give us a technology platform that is scalable and future-proof. And third, be in charge of the operations and execution and give us a very clean model that works and is also there in a few years' time.